Grace and peace, family. Grace and peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. My at hotel. Namaste. Free the land, beloved. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I'm your sister with the curly braids, Vicky Dillard, and I am so pleased to be with you today here on my own channel at vickydillard.tv. Beloved, it is my pleasure to be with you today. You all know that I have made some changes on different platforms that I'm on. Some of you all know, and I always start the broadcast like this recently, that you're used to seeing me on other platforms that I help to build businesses, other brands and names that I made prominent, helped to make prominent over the years. So some of you are like, Vicky, where are you now? We can't find you. And so because I spent my literal life force focusing on other platforms and spaces and places for other people, for their benefit, disproportionately for their benefit, unfortunately, some of you all are like, where have you been? We're used to seeing you on all these other platforms over the years. So I want you all to know that I'm giving more attention recently to my personal platform here at vickydillard.tv. And I'm so pleased that you're with me today. Of course, you're still going to see me on other platforms, social media platforms. I got some special announcements that's coming up next year as well, which I'm so excited about. I'm on other large networks like African Diaspora News Channel and so forth and so on. We're on Twitter. We're going to be on We're on Rumble. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram, Vicky X Dillard there, VICKI. We're on Facebook. We're going to continue to do that. And of course, I'm also, in terms of media, I don't believe in a one mode of expanding my voice. My first book is coming out. Finally, after all these many years of Dark Goddess Invasion, in a few months, you'll hear about the pre-sales. I'm working with my publisher on that. You all know that I just came out with my Venus Luxury magazine. My team told me today we only have approximately 2 dozen left for the hard copy special edition. I told you I only made a small amount available for the hard copies for the first ever luxury edition of Venus magazine, where I'm going to be giving away Goddess Secrets of Manifestation for the Divine Feminine. They told me, Vicky, we only have 2 dozen left. And I was so shocked because I'm going to be making the rest available digitally. So, beloved, you better run to VickyPlanet.com. I forgot to let them know that I was going live today. So let me try to put the link in the chat really quick. Y'all know y'all got to help your sister. I'm live doing this live, and I'm used to getting help. So I'm going to look for the link here in just a moment. We literally only have about 12 left. Before I came on, they told me that. So that's for the special edition. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait for the digital version to come out in a few weeks. I am so excited about the Venus magazine. I brought up that because I believe in multiple forms of getting my message out. And so, yes, that's the reason why you see me. I'm not a hater. When people say, well, Vicky, why don't you just do your own brand? And why are you letting so-and-so, do this to you and do that to you? And why are you giving all your life force to this and all this kind of stuff? Well, number one, my health. Number two, I'm not a hater. I don't mind helping to build other Black businesses and brands, beloved, if there's mutual benefit. But the moment there's some ethical and legal stuff going on, the moment I am run over and disrespected and mistreated and bunch of other stuff that I can't say right now until my legal team makes things formal, beloved, then that's when your sister says, okay, I got to do it. So I'm not a hater. When we talk about group economics, when we're talking about uplifting each other, I bring my magic to a whole lot of Black people, and I'm really good at it. And I get a lot of good results when people are good to me. So this is the reason why I did not mind spreading my message around, helping others. But everybody doesn't believe and think and move the way we move, right? So I am here. And again, you're still going to see me on other networks and other platforms. But there are some changes in other networks and places that some of you all are used to seeing me on over the many years. Okay, so stay tuned for that. I've got to cross my T's and dot my I's. So thank you all so much for your patience. On the count of 3, for those of you that have it, please hit that thumbs up button. I put the link in there for VickyPlanet.com, our website, so that you can hurry and get the Luxury Venus magazine. It's going to be so good. 16 pages of yummy secrets and images. We are women. Women are meant to manifest differently. Some of the drama and the problems that we have in our life is because we have masculine energies in us too, of course. But because of social and societal reasons and the family makeup, we've been forced to try to live and manifest disproportionately using our masculine energy. And that's not the way it's meant to be. Again, disproportionately. We have masculine energy. We have to use that, but not in a disproportionate way. So in this, I'm talking about Goddess Sacred Secrets. Y'all look at my back cover. Isn't that yummy? And I'm talking about luxury. Yes, for you, sis. Why? Because I don't believe that luxury should be for just 6, 7, and 8-figure people only. Talk black to me. I'm making luxury accessible for the everyday feminine. So this is like a Goddess Secret Society. So somebody said, Vicky, are you going to be doing regular subscriptions, automatic subscriptions? Stay tuned. I'm so excited. So literally, my team messaged me today before I came on. She said, Vicky, you got 2 dozen left. So run to the website, brothers. You'll thank me if you get this for your woman, this special goddess in your life. If you're engaged, you got a girlfriend, your wife, your mama, your daughter, your niece, whatever feminine in your life, bless her, make the investment. The investment you make is for the sacred secrets that's going to get you results if you follow the instructions. Okay, VickiPlanet.com. That's VICKI. The link is above. Okay, Miss Cherie said luxury is for me. You got that right, beloved. All right, enough of that. I just wanted to bring that up because you're never going to limit me and how I get my message out. I'm humble enough and I'm powerful enough to know and not to despise small beginnings. I see power in seed form, and that's what makes me effective. Hence today's topic. Are y'all ready for this? I heard about this a month or so ago. You all messaged me all over social media, and it wasn't just people I'm unaware of. These are supporters that I'm in touch with that I more or less have more direct access to that says, Vicky, R0land is at it again. As you can see, I was in no rush whatsoever to respond to this madness, but I'm led to discuss it today. And I'm not going to roast this subterranean entity. R0land is also affectionately known amongst intelligent Black people as Rolanda Martina. This is an unidentified rolling object. This is a species that's the energy of this type of thing is subterranean. You understand? Masquerading as one of us. You look absolutely beautiful, sis. Keep rocking, queen. Thank you all so much. Y'all got to start telling me who pays y'all to say all these comments and stuff. I need to see the payroll for that. Thank you, precious. And so for those of you that don't know, when I came to social media and utilizing my magic and my message on multiple platforms some years ago, I never ever resort to ad hominem attacks on anybody. But I started to deal with R0land and energies and entities like him in a certain way, because when you show yourself to be an enemy to my people, you get treated like that. Don't come to me with this fake spirituality and religious attitude, this loser strategy. Vicky, just stick to the topic. Just don't call no names. What are you talking about? I am the most elegant girl from Mississippi that knows how to move in multiple energies. But when I came to social media, I was listening to his funny looking self, devastated myself. I almost had to go on pills and lay up on somebody's couch because of the devastation I experienced. What devastation? The other stuff I've gone through in life with overcoming major illnesses and being in the federal belly of the beast, going through unjust trials and loss and all kind of stuff, that almost doesn't compare to when I saw R0land come across my screen. God, today. Almost had to go see somebody. Almost got admitted somewhere. because of that. So the devastation of it all, just the imprint of my psyche and stuff. It's affected my relationships. God, today. How I see life. It just the devastation of it all. Just him being himself disturbs all of me. So years and years ago, when I was watching some of his content online, because I remember seeing him years ago on CNN, one of those type mainstream media shows, and I was disgusted and devastated then. But that was prior to me actually doing political content on a consistent basis. Years and years and years later, I found out that this thing is still got batteries. Somebody keeps giving them batteries, animating this thing. And so when I realized that he was fired from CNN, when I realized he was fired from another large Black network, when I realized all the mainstream media threw him away and stuff. So he went online out of desperation to still have a voice and to use that as a form of financial solicitation from the Democrat Party and others to raise money. And he's still, of course, simultaneously still begging these other platforms, for a job and stuff. That's when I started to set my sights on him. Why? Your hairstyle is beautiful. Thank you, Linda. Because, beloved, when I was watching his commentary on Black folks that was demanding reparations and Black folks that disagreed with him politically, he literally put in the heading calling us simple Simon mother effers. Prior to that, he would just flippantly call us simple Simon blankety blanks. You dumb A, you this. So I said, wait a minute. Who is this person that's masquerading as a pro-Black voice, but people that are actually politically engaged, people that actually vote, but that disagree with him politically, and that put pressure on candidates to substantively push for tangibles and reparations, he calls them simple Simon mother effers. And then you had the Tamika Mallory's of the world dog out other Black folks that were unwilling to give Joe Biden our vote without pressuring him. They were saying, wait, we want to be politically involved. We want to vote for we wouldn't mind voting for him if he pushes for reparations. And what's that other girl that I just totally, Amanda Seals. She don't like me too much. She blocked me. Tamika Mallory blocked me. I tried to connect with Tamika and all this kind of stuff. And I'm that's privately offline. I looked up to Tamika. When I was in the belly of the beast, I would use her picture as inspiration. Tamika, she accepted an interview that I did with her years and years ago when I had a little fledgling radio broadcast. She was gracious enough to do that. That was very clear that I appreciated who she was. But then over the years, she started saying some of the most outrageous and crazy things, and I still didn't do anything publicly about it. I privately messaged her. She acknowledged my message, and I told her, hey, we can just agree to disagree, sis. We can still be sisters, put on a good, still address the public. But I think it would be good, this kind of stuff. And she acknowledged that she saw my message and made it clear through her actions. I guess blank you. So y'all, I ain't no hater. I just tried to keep it offline, be a sister, even if we agree to disagree. But she, chose her side and stuff. So then that's when I publicly came out to disagree with some of her very, very public and dangerous stands. And I still wasn't going off or anything. And I still kept giving disclaimers about how much I respect her and how I interviewed her in the past and how I privately tried to reach out to her and all this kind of stuff. But none of that ever mattered. And she was apparently still, disgusted by that. So likewise with R0land, I want you all to know that I am not going to stop putting pressure on him because he's an enemy to us. And don't you ever on no day tell me what to say and what not to say. You focus on you. I'm a spiritual warrior. I'm dealing with an energy. So when I'm talking about him and dealing with him a certain kind of way, it's because he's an enemy to our people. You're new to this. So don't come to me with loser strategies on how to deal with spirits. This is what I do. This is what I'm born to do. So when he was calling our people simple Simon, mother effers, repeatedly, when he kept calling us dumb A's, that's when you see your sister emerge and handle him as I ought. Thumbs up, thumbs up. What's happened lately? Copyright Act of 1976. This, what I'm about to show you, is covered under the Copyright Act of 1976. I'm just going to show you a brief clip of something that R0land said recently concerning me and one other person. Now, when you all brought this to my attention, some of you said, well, Vicky, there are many people in, some of you refer to it as new black media. I know some of y'all got real mad when the people's calling Vicky Dillard new black media. Y'all love the brothers being called that. But some of the sisters, they was tagging saying, she ain't no. We respect so-and-so in there. The sisters came out, they was mad. They was real mad. Like, don't you dare call that girl that. So I asked the public, then just don't call me new black media. Y'all know darn well nobody was doing it like I was doing it, the female way. And I was cool with that. Nobody trained me. None of y'all trained me. I was doing this kind of stuff years and years ago offline before I ever came online. I was a threat that I was to the powers that shouldn't be because I was always that. When I was teaching in prisons, when I was doing my political activism by myself, when I was flown back to back for national and local organizations, when they heard me open up my mouth, when I was funded to go to Chicago on a couple of different occasions and sat before a number of attorneys generals before they signed off on that multi-billion-dollar deal with Wall Street, I sat before them and got the pictures. Supernatural. This stranger lady that came in there to go off about the illegality of some of the stuff that was happening leading up to the 2007-2008 Great Recession. That was me. I was sitting there and stuff with some of the attorneys generals. And I said my piece in my Southern way and shocked them. When I first learned about Van Jones, he was a headliner in Washington, D.C. when I went to America Futures Conference. I got the receipts for it. They chose me to be one of the speakers in the breakout session there. Got the receipts and the pictures and stuff. I was teaching in prisons as an act of service for women. My program, Jailhouse Rock Academy, was approved, and I was going throughout the state teaching. Had my own food bank, was going into nursing homes, spent thousands of dollars years ago funding Black students, spent thousands of dollars supporting even Black missionaries, and was dealing with political officials, governmental officials on state, federal, and local. You can't tell me nothing. So when you deal with a serious autoimmune illness that affects multiple organs and body parts over the years, and when you spend nearly 4.5 years after a 5-year sentence in some form of federal custody, and when your life is hampered to where you can't do service like you used to because of that record and because of my health, you don't get to come to me asking me, why don't you do it like this, Vicky? I said, you don't get to ask me none of that. So I use my voice and my dollars, no matter how large at times or small, to still seed to important people and organizations and support businesses and Black students. And I use my magic to shape the world in seed form. You can't tell me nothing about asking me no questions about why I do what I do the way I do it. Some of you could never. Just wanted to throw that out there. That's just a little bit that I wanted to tell you real quick. Everybody be sure to hit that thumbs up button, share, share, share. So as a preface to what I'm about to show you, I wanted to say that. Because a lot of you got a whole lot of stuff to say, and you're not the ones that even give $10 on a regular basis. So I come out of the belly of the beast after being shipped to Texas, going through multiple states before I got there to serve all this time. Still fighting in court, still dealing with injustices on that level. Come back, considered nothing, and use my voice at times when I was going live, and some of y'all was dogging me. Some of you didn't recognize who I even was because my body was so filled with steroids, biologics, and drugs. My body was absolutely unrecognizable. I was even sicker then. I've overcome a lot of things now. I still got a little ways to go, but baby, my magic is working. Some of you didn't recognize me. Some of you all mocked me. Said, look at her background. Her computer's so ghetto. Some of you all had no idea that I had an assistant that had to set me up because of my illness, just so that you could see me well in a corner of a particular apartment, sick as a dog, not knowing all of the medical stuff that she had around me so that I could come to you. And one network at a time, the multiple networks, and my voice was played and replayed on multiple platforms, and people from around the world in different ways were responding little bit by little bit. Strange haters. And come to find out, some of the very people that call themselves giving me an opportunity become intimidated, jealous, and competitive, and did things to intentionally suppress my voice. But I kept at it. Then another door opened. I never mocked it if 5 people were watching me or 500. And little bit by little bit, I said, I'm going to do a little bit here, I'll do a little bit there. Talk black to me. Some of you laughed at me. A couple of times I went live from the hospital. Just coming up from procedures. Some of you others mocked me because I was even on a bus one time. A couple times. You don't know the half. But I'm just giving you that little bit of insight in case you decide to run your mouth to tell me what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. When I went to Atlanta recently to a packed out B1 documentary film that I helped to promote right before it's released. Shout out to one of the co-producers of that, to my brother, Rick Mathis. He and I are working on some behind the scenes stuff now. This is the second documentary film that was premiered this year. Shout out to my brother, Tariq Nasheed. I was premiered in his for the American Maroons earlier this year. Talk black to me. Isn't that something from your sister with the curly braids? Who they gave up on? And now in different ways, and under extraordinary and unique circumstances, still fulfilling my contract with the earth as best I can, while they laughed and mocked me, and still do. Watch this. So it became surprising when high profiles started to respond to your sister with the curly braids. Why was they worried about what Vicki Dillard said? Talk black to me. Oh, yes, they did. And people started to say, who cares about what she think? You don't understand the spiritual power. That's the difference. It's not because you say you talking about the same topic as me, slowness. Lying about you influencing me. God, today. God, today. Funny looking self. With your funny looking self. It's a spiritual power. There are some things that stick. And the powers that shouldn't be recognized before even my own people. See, you don't understand power in its seed form. So some of you all support and prefer others because you're just looking at one platform with one subscribership. Slowness. Real power never works that way. We do our work undercover, under the cloak of darkness, and then seemingly out of nowhere, a big harvest arises. That's why I say I'm pure magic. Watch this. So R0land, who's still trying to be somebody, is so mad about Vicky's political advice and influence over the years. And I won't say these persons' names, but R0land always connected other high-profile people with Vicki Dillard. Well, again, this is under the Copyright Act of 1976. I'm not going to play the whole thing because you know how R0land gets. So I will be stopping and starting it for that reason, family. Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share, share, share. What did he say recently? Somebody said to me, Vicki, there are a lot of new Black media or Black grassroots media voices. So why is it that he only targeted you and this Jason Black recently? Somebody said the powers that somebody else made a comment about how certain entities and forces are trying to plot on me. That's why. Baby, I ain't worried about none of that. There's an unseen government that backs me, and I was born for this. I just did something right there. For those of you that don't know, the Vicky Show was the home of the hand claps and the gavel ups. I said the home of the hand claps and gavel ups. Been having this gavel for some years now. By the way, shout out to our beautiful moderators in the building. Y'all shout out Miss Sharice. Y'all shout out Aquarius 79. Y'all shout out our moderators in the blue. These are women that have rocked with me for years. They were all up in my DM. They didn't have no motive. They weren't trying to do something. They just shown and proved themselves to be supporters. So y'all shout out Aquarius 79. Y'all shout out Miss Sharice. They're highlighted in blue. They're going to be putting important information in the chat. So be sure to do that. You all have been blowing up my Cash Apps lately and my PayPals. I can't even keep up. Just know, I don't care if your gift is $5. Some of you did $150. Some of you do $50. But Vinny, I see you just put 100 on there. Your gifts are blessed 1,000-fold. I thank you. I love you back. And I never take anything you do for me for granted. Never, ever, on no day. You are my bliss. Do you hear me, family? You are my bliss. Get to it, Vicky. So R0land recently on his little show, I want you to see, this is the actual headline.
The Simple Simons, Gary. But this is what we...
Watch this. I don't want y'all thinking I'm making it up. I'm trying to do it another way, but unfortunately, it won't show the whole thing when I do it the long way. Do y'all see the title? Hold on, y'all. I keep trying to wipe this. While I'm doing that, everybody be sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're just tuning in, my name is Vicki Dillard. You're watching me on my personal channel here at VickyDillard.tv. As I've said in the beginning of the broadcast, I know some of you all are used to seeing me on other platforms and networks, and you've been asking, where am I to watch me live? While you will still see me on other platforms, started Your Gift is Blessed 1,000-fold, beloved. While you will still see me on other platforms, you can see me live here. I'm giving more attention to my personal platform as well, okay? Thank you so much for joining us. Let everybody know they can watch me weekly here on my own platform. I don't go live 5 days a week like I used to. As my health continues to improve, and it is, I'll go live more, okay? Can y'all see that headline? This is R0land's channel. This is his panel. Now, the one that's here, I guess this would be it's going to be to my left and your right. This is Gary Chambers. He was running for Senate. I don't know if y'all remember that, in Louisiana. He's always, some sort of, I guess, posturing himself as a political candidate. This is Michael, that's next to R0land. Michael, he's got some platforms and stuff. I've known him over the years. This is somebody that had a platform, and that when I would go live and I would do a broadcast, he would DM me, want to debate my topics. I just don't even understand people like that. I don't know. I don't be knowing people like that. Like, why you care about what I'm talking about? And why you have ideas fussing at me about my broadcast? Why I'm not finna sit here and do this with you. I'm not in school and stuff. You a stranger to me. I know other people know you. You got your little platforms. You happy to know them people. I don't be caring like that. Anyway, so he's mocking me there too. And then this other guy here in the middle, he didn't do as much visible disrespect, I'll say. And just so you know, as the description, R0land says, R0land has a few questions for super Black, loudmouth Jason Black and Vicki Dillard. Can't make it up. Y'all see the description? Take a screenshot so you know your sister ain't lying. I don't never have to exaggerate. So if you don't know, Roland's talked about me for years and years, but he's talked about me again recently, and I'm gonna tell you why. He says, why are they MIA in Louisiana's gubernatorial election? So he's mad because I'm not involved in promoting this Louisiana Georgia race, right? Or for governor. That's what the gubernatorial mean, in case you didn't know what that meant. Democrat Sean Wilson, a black man, is running for governor of the state of Louisiana, right? It would appear as if Jason Black and Vicki Dillard have been silent on the governor's race. Where y'all at? We really have a serious immigration problem. The immigration is not just the people from Venezuela and Mexico. These unidentified rolling objects, known as rolling martini, this is another territory that's invading the United States that we need to really get under control. Because I'm not sure these things that's got my name in their mouth trying to tell me I need to be talking about the Louisiana gubernatorial race. Vicky, get to it. Y'all hit that thumbs up button, share. So I'm going to skip around. Listen to how he starts the broadcast. This is a particular clip.
I ignored the Simple Simons, Gary, but this is a Louisiana race, and so I'm just curious. Have you seen or heard that loudmouth ass Jason Black, who's in Louisiana, who's always go to my YouTube page, because like last year, this little idiot did this thing called Pull Up Summer 2022, which was pretty stupid because he claims.
Okay, he uses the first couple of minutes to talk about Jason. Notice how he's calling him out of his name and all this kind of stuff, right? Let me skip a little bit, and I'm going to skip to how Gary Chambers, the one that ran for Senate, how he's responding. I want you to listen to something that Gary Chambers says, and then you're going to hear him, bring up me.
Roland, we have a real problem with figuring out how do we collectively advance our people. And a portion of that problem is that some of us speak so much against Black progress that we don't contribute anything other than that to Black progress, which is not a control.
Now, do you hear Gary Chambers? I'm going to tell you a little bit about Gary Chambers, just for my little 5-minute to the side experience with him. Listen real close. These are your political Senate candidate folk.
Of any value, to be honest. We have a real opportunity where we can turn things out. And my struggle with all of the people who kick back, and this is for the foundational Black Americans who say,
y'all know foundational Black Americans, FBA is something that specifically the Black grassroots uses, right? I think our brother Tariq Nasheed is the one that coined that phrase, but it's been used throughout Black grassroots, right? Listen, he specifically says that
we should not push some of these candidates. You got to get somebody in there to move your agenda.
Yeah.
And if you can't convince people that your agenda is important, you got to build a bridge big enough, a boat big enough that you can cross the river of struggle. Because Black folk tired of struggling. They're tired of sitting in conditions and communities that are not working. And the way that we advance that is by putting people who share the majority of our views in office. So
watch what he getting ready to say next. Aquarius so crazy. She said, we already know he wants to be you. Today, I ain't playing with y'all. Y'all not gonna mess with me. Some of y'all might be new. Y'all, this is a years-long issue. Y'all wouldn't believe your sister with the curly braids, how he was coming for us. Roland got so mad because I'm like, well, why is he cussing out our people? Why is he calling people that want reparations and that's politically engaged Simple Simon mother effers? Why is this devastation rolling around, devastating all of us and destroying the next generation just by being himself?
We can get things done. And then if those people are not doing what we want, we don't put them there again. But I didn't see many people.
Watch this. Let me rewind this a little bit. I want you to hear this part again.
Who share the majority of our views in office so that we can get things done. And then if those people are not doing what we want, we don't put them there again. But I didn't see many people that were running for the U.S. Senate last year that had a majority Black staff, that paid majority of Black people with the resources that they raised, $1.3 million. that kept reparations as a part of their platform, and I still was not getting the support of those people. So it's almost like when you're Black and you're running, are you ever good enough for Black people sometimes?
Shut up. I'm sorry. That's the most diplomatic way I know to say this to this man. Sir, we the Black grassroots are so powerful that you had folks on MSNBC like Tiffany, who's now fired, Tiffany Cross, literally tell MSNBC audiences not to listen to folks like us. You had literally one of the darlings, the top heads of the DNC, tell one of our top influencers to shut the F up when he was calling out Kamala Harris for pandering to Black folks and not substantively addressing our political demands. Howard Dean said that about Tariq Nasheed, and I was the one that covered that with the quickness. He literally said from the DNC, the heads, shut the F up. You had Simone Sanders, who worked for Bernie Sanders first. She switched sides, started working for Joe Biden's campaign. She actually thought she had a chance in hell to become the press secretary. We knew that that was what she was angling for before Joe Biden ever won. We told her, ma'am, they're not going to let linebackers be the press secretary. Linebackers don't qualify for press secretary. She told us in so many words, I know my man. They humiliated her. Somebody put some footballs in the chat. Somebody say Broncos. God, today I don't know nothing about no sports. All I know is about, because I'm living in the Wild Wild West now, so I just know out here it's Broncos. Talk Black to me. Y'all can put whatever little team you know about. But anyway, watch this. We prophesied to her way in advance. Before there was any signs or wonders that he was going to be officially the president, we knew just by her working on this campaign, she thought she was going to dog Black people. Some of y'all don't know Simone Sanders put out when they was fighting over her on which campaign was going, what campaign she was going to work on. She was wanting to let them know that she would dog Black folks. She came out and told Black men that she was sick of she was tired of their unsolicited opinions. I told her butt up. You had Kamala come out later and say, now she ain't finna do something for just Black folks. When they asked her about reparations when she was running for office, before she stepped down and let Joe have it. Of course, her campaign was horrible and terrible. So you got the head of the DNC telling influential Black grassroots folks, not Roland Martin types, not mainstream media types, Black grassroots. What do they care about? They told him to shut the F up. Simone came out and told all Black men she was tired of their unsolicited opinion. I told her up. Tiffany Cross, funny looking self, well after that, used her MSNBC show to literally tell her audience not to listen to folks like us. You had athletes that came after me talking about my curly braids. Why would a basketball player use a public platform to talk about Vicki Dillard? In fact, he dogged me on Dr. Boyce's platform, one of his platforms. You had CNN folks in my DMs. You had MSNBC reporters call me because they was upset about a broadcast. I went off on Susan Rice, who used to work under the Obama administration. Before that, she worked in Bill Clinton's administration. I gave her that everlasting work on one of the other platforms that I used to be on. It was on the Saturday. That video went viral, hundreds of thousands of views. After that, your current press secretary, Kareem Jean-Pierre, talk like to me somebody. It's your little sister with the curly braids, Vicki Dillard. Yes. This Susan Rice, in case y'all don't know who I'm talking about. She just recently left Joe Biden's administration. That's her. She worked for Bill Clinton's administration, and she worked for Obama. They thought she was going to be Secretary of State. Both the Republicans, both the Democrats and Republicans made sure she wasn't going to be that. So they gave her some other position in the State Department. I talked about her when I did that broadcast on her because Kareem Jean-Pierre was defending her. Your current press secretary, this your current press secretary, Kareem Jean-Pierre. This woman was upset at me so bad, she blocked me on 2 of her personal platforms. I was talking about when I went to Atlanta recently for the sold out premiere, for the B1 premiere in Atlanta. I was there and took so many pictures with so many of my supporters. I was so happy to see so many of you all. I mean, just supporters from all over the place. I won't say who this person is, but there was a congressperson that was there. And this particular congresswoman, who is very prominent there, caught me before I left and wanted me to know that she supports me and watches my stuff. This is not unusual. There are some other high profiles who I won't ever tell you that privately support me. I'm bringing this up because when you have folks like R0land and other folks, and even some of your own people that mock you, it's because we're making a real difference. When you have other politicians that want you to know, I listen to you, that means that my influence is influencing them and their policies that they're pushing, other things that they're doing, in addition to our people and communities. Talk black to me. So I'm bringing this up because this is why they're mad at your sister with the curly braids. And they just simply can't keep my name out their mouth. And I understand why. Watch this. I like to do my work underground. I like for you to always treat me like the underdog. Watch this.
Because you say, I'm not going to vote for them just because they're black. When they're black and they got a college degree and a PhD, you got a problem with that. When they're black and they're activists and they're advocates, you got a problem with that. The question is the white man's ice cold?
Shut up, Gary. This man, did you see the foolishness that he just said? I'm not even going to spend a whole lot of time roasting their butts, but I want you to hear what they said. Watch this.
Those people. So it's almost like when you're black and you're running, are you ever good enough for black people sometimes? Because you say, I'm not going to vote for them just because they're black. When they're black and they got a college degree and a PhD, you got a problem with that. When they're black and they are activists and they are advocates, you got a problem with that. The question is the white man's ice cold?
Are you on drugs? This is what black folks tell themselves, delusional black folks. That's what they tell themselves in order to justify why we're not supporting them. And it's so obvious why we're not supporting them. This is a coercive and manipulative tactic that is not working, and it shall never work. You look beautiful today, Queen Vicky. Thank you so much, precious. As you come in, family, be sure to hit that thumbs up button.
And again, since I'm just going ahead in there, same thing. Loudmouth Vicky Dillard. All they do is run their mouth. And again, you got black folks who run it. This is for the governor of Louisiana. So,
y'all, he pulled up my personal YouTube channel during his broadcast. What you're looking at right now is my actual personal channel. When I came out, R0land was watching me on all kind of other platforms. I wasn't even using my personal channel. So he knows that because I've stepped away from some of the other large platforms that I helped to push and promote and give credibility to over the years. He had the nerve, Derek, your gift is blessed 1,000-fold. During his broadcast, with those politicos sitting up there, he pulled up my whole personal channel for the people to see. Now watch the specific topics that he's mad about. And yes, I was doing broadcasts on the other platforms, and I do still to this day broadcasts on African Diaspora News Channel and my other platforms, clips and shorter broadcasts going in on the Democrats. Your sister is dangerous. I will see this message every which way I go. And they big mad. And yes, y'all know some time ago, I did a broadcast where an inside person that brought receipts showed where they said that Joy Reid they said she obsessed about me. So somebody came with the receipts for this CNN event that took place and how my name came up. And so one of the brothers who's in the inside of the media stuff, like I said, I would never put out my sources like that. But obviously I had receipts, and some of you all remember this story because I was on some other platforms talking about this. And I showed you some receipts that I had permission to show you. He was doing this little private thing with CNN, and he was calling out all the CNN folks that was talking about me. Watch this. So the brother knew I was going in so much on the boule and these fraternities and these sororities. The brother is a part of one of the fraternities, and he told me, he said, sis, please don't go off on all the boule because some of us love you. He's so rest. He said, I'm a part of the boule. I'm a part of the boule. I'm a part of them, but I love you. some of them are the one that gave me the inside scoop on what some of them really be saying about your sister with the curly braids. So y'all, it's really something how the haters be just, you be living your life and stuff. And while you living your just regular life, people be just obsessing over you in the weirdest ways, just strangers and stuff. So he said, please, some of us Boule love you, Vicky. And so they gave me some for real inside stuff. And I was like, God, today. So in addition to the people that I was directly hearing from on these mainstream media, I said, you said what? What is this I'm looking at? So child, they big mad at your sister, but keep listening. What he say right here? So he pulls up when he go to talking about me. Again, y'all know he's talked about me, dogged me over the years, but he decided to put my name in the description and single us out this time. Watch this.
Mouth Vicki Dillard. All they do is run their mouth. And again, you got black folks who run it. This is for the governor of Louisiana, second blackest state. On here, I see her talking about Kamala Harris, dogging Joe Biden, saying Clyburn sold us out, saying DNC chairman flees if the black Americans confront him, all this sort of stuff. I don't see.
Listen, he pulls out all the broadcasts where I'm going in on, I'm dealing with politics and the Democrats. He's mad because I called out James Clyburn. The question is, why isn't R0land calling out James Clyburn? All of the Democrats talk about how gerrymandering and them manipulating the maps are a problem. But when we busted the long-term Congressman, Representative Clyburn, showing that behind the scenes he was working with the GOP to undermine black voices so that he can stay in power, why is it that R0land isn't upset about the traitorous James Clyburn? How many of you all remember that James Clyburn came out long ago saying he's against reparations and that it's an impossibility? Notice, listen to all of the broadcasts he talks about that I'm doing that really pisses him off. Every one of them is about the Democrats or interrelated to the Democrats or politics.
And again, you got black folks who run it. This is for the governor of Louisiana, second blackest state. On here, I see her talking about Kamala Harris, dogging Joe Biden.
Kamala Harris, dogging Joe Biden. Hell yeah.
Saying Clyburn sold us out.
He did.
Saying DNC chairman flees if the black Americans confront him. All this sort of stuff.
Y'all, I did that. Look, y'all, I did that broadcast on my channel. I did it on African Diaspora News channel. Y'all, thousands, tens of thousands of people. Yes. I told everybody and played the yes, yes, and yes. And I wanted to make sure everybody else got it too, so everybody else could make it go viral. Yes, slowness. He is a Democrat shield. Notice he never goes to the Democrats to say, y'all better push reparations and make it a reality since you're giving billions of dollars to Afghans, Ukrainians, legal and illegal immigrants, LGBTQ, and everybody else. He never tells them what to do to ensure our votes, to secure our votes, like everybody else does. And this Gary Chambers guy, Gary Chambers knows that the Black grassroots, we're so powerful that all these folks will listen to us and they're so afraid of us. They've been trying to censor us, demonetize us, suppress us. They've been coming for us. But how many of them have engaged us? How many of them have said, I know who you are. I know Vicky Dillard, I know Jason, I know Tariq, I know this, that, and third. How about we try to engage their audiences? They don't do that. Instead, they use their platforms to dog us, to call you simple Simon MFers, and they use their platforms to literally tell the world, don't listen to them. And these are the same Negroes that will tell you that they are censoring Black voices everywhere else. But you got Black folks that's trying to censor your sister with the curly braids, and then they're telling the world not to listen to us. What does that tell you when they won't stop telling everybody to stop listening to little old Vicki Dillard, who's using her laptop and a cell phone? What does that tell you?
Nothing on here about the brother who's running for governor. And so all I'm saying, to all of these so-called super black people, where you at? Because see, you can't keep saying you want this, this, this. To your point, Gary, well, who's going to do it? So let's be real clear. We know what Jeff Landry not going to do. We know exactly what he is going to do that's going to be oppressive to black folks there in Louisiana. And so, yeah, I'm purposely name calling all these folks who run their mouths. They love doing videos about me, but it's amazing when it's time to put the metal to the pedal, time to really get going, time to actually get folks elected who can speak to our interests. Ooh, they MIA. They in the witness protection program.
How many of you all remember the back-to-back broadcasts I did when I busted R0land Martin and I showed you, I provided you all with receipts that during the WikiLeaks scandal, a lot of the stuff when the United States was exposed, right? How many of y'all remember all that? Most of you all wouldn't have expected for 1 second that in the WikiLeaks, some of those documents that were released exposed R0land Martin's behind-the-scenes secret relationship with the Democrat Party and Hillary Clinton. And how while he's sitting up here acting like he's so pro-black, he behind the scenes doing the dirty work for the Democrats and got busted. And that's another reason why CNN let him go and they refused to hire his funny looking scary self back. When I brought up the scandals on how your black people that come out saying that they will not give us reparations are undermining you behind the scenes and taking away your voice and your power, like James Clyburn, who's one of the longest serving congressmen from South Carolina. They don't want to talk about that. But what have we done? In addition, if you're just tuning in, watch the whole broadcast because I give you receipts of who Vicki Dillard is in the beginning. Don't you let nobody lie on your sister. I explain to you exactly the work that I have done and the things that I'm overcoming now and why I engage the world the way that I do. Somebody say uncheckable. Watch this. How many of you all know that a couple plus years ago, how many of you all know that we put money and supported DA Paul Howard Jr., who charged the police in the Rayshard Brooks case? How many of y'all remember that? How many of you all remember that I, along with some of the others, I believe others, we donated money to his campaign. We used our platforms to push it, and we got so much traction. We the black grassroots, got so much traction to the injustice of the Rayshard Brooks case. And that I directly heard from Mr. Paul Howard Jr.'s office. They thanked me for my support and other stuff too. Talk black to me. Unfortunately, he did not win his reelection because we found out that who? Your Democrats. How many of you all know who this lady is? They put her up to go against a black man. And now we see why. Because Fonnie Willis, she unseated our brother Paul Howard because they put all this money behind her. And we see now why the Democrats wanted her. She's the one that's doing what? She's the one that's brought the charges, one of the ones that's brought charges against Donald Trump. Remember, we showed you that the police were supporting her campaign. And we saw all that money they were flooding into her campaign. Talk black to me. R0land doesn't care that we politically engaged and gave money to him. What about our brother, Marcel Dixon? God, today! Who did interviews with Marcel Dixon? Who gave money to Marcel Dixon? Is R0land supporting Marcel Dixon? How many of y'all know our brother? We focused on the fact that he was for reparations. He's the one that was challenging who? James Clyburn, right? We put money behind him. He had a strong reparations platform. Not a miscellaneous platform that theoretically believes in black folks getting reparations. No, that's the difference that Gary Chambers isn't like that. Gary Chambers did not say that the main thing he's pushing for black folks is reparations. don't care if you theoretically believe in reparations. Marcel made that the main thing he pushed for Black folks, is that he's going to stay on reparations. They wanted him to push LGBTQ stuff. They said, well, hey, you're a part of this community or whatever, so you're going to push. He said, hell no, I'm not doing none of that. It's reparations, it's reparations, it's reparations. Why am I bringing up these few people? It's because I'm proving to you that we're politically engaged. I'm proving to you that we put our dollars there. I'm telling you that we use our platforms to talk about certain things. It's just that they don't like who we support. Did you hear what I said? I said they don't like who we support. So it's not that we ain't politically engaged. We're so politically engaged. R0land is mad because I keep showing broadcasts with footage of the Black grassroots showing up to political events, calling out politicians who are not pushing substantive Black programs. Am I right, family? Remember, I told you when I went off on R0land years ago, he was going off on Black folks because he disagreed with our political stance. And he said, because we said make reparations a part of the Democratic platform, he called us simple Simon mother effers. So you need to be checked. You're upset, not because we're not politically engaged. You don't like our political strategy. Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share, share, share. By the way, if you're just coming in, ladies and gentlemen, I only have 24 Venus Luxury Magazine, hard copy that is, left. Get it while you can. My team told me right before I came on that there are only 24 left. Go to VickyPlanet.com. The link is above. Brothers, if you have a lovely lady in your life, get it for her while supplies last. Watch this. R0land. I'm so politically engaged. Number one, that's been my life for years in different ways. And I want to let you all know, family, that there are different types of soldiers and there are different forms of power. When Black folks were building our own towns and cities just up from slavery, the first goal of your ancestors was not to vote. They used it as one simple tool. Later, we were building whole towns and industries, and the first bomb that the United States dropped on any group of people were Black American citizens who built America. And jealous white folks, we weren't studying no integration. We built their world, so we turned around and started building multiple Black cities and towns, and they set them on fire, and they destroyed them in one way or another. Why am I bringing that up? Because the first order of business was not reparation, was not voting. What made the United States and other governmental officials finally pay attention to Black folks? Was it because of us voting? No, dummy. They've always sabotaged our vote. How many Black folks did they illegally put down as felons, specifically in Florida some years ago when George Bush was running? And by the time they were able to clear up the records, it was too late. They intentionally put Black folks down. And for those that legitimately had records, they still don't allow a lot of Black folks that have served their time to vote. They gerrymandered, which is how they sabotage your vote so it doesn't count. Your Supreme Court a few years ago gutted the most substantive part of the Voting Rights Act from the 60s. Companies like Dillard were an election machine company run by Republicans out of California, one of them I believe was, found out that their machines in Black neighborhoods were rigged. Just lost my earring. Oh, there it is. Just lost. Their machines were rigged, so when Black folks would vote, the machine would automatically put it for somebody else. Do you know that Dillard, that company, ended up paying in court? But it didn't matter because they had already gotten Joe Biden in office. But they settled it in court after scamming Black folks. This was happening. It was pervasive throughout the United States. They've always pimped our votes with mapping, with machines, and in all manner of evil. Even Donald Trump was responsible for doing that too. attacking Black folks voting. Watch this. There are different forms of power. And yes, I believe that we can use voting as a tool, but it must be strategic in order for it to be effective. And if we've been voting all these years and we're still in the same condition, you are a fool to keep listening to folks like R0land, who tells you that voting is our power. And it's the reason why we're in the condition we're in. The writer of Powernomics and a whole bunch of other revolutionary economic books from the great who? Dr. Claude Anderson. I always remind you of his bio, because I need you all to understand why R0land is pathetic and why we should not be listening to his advice. We should not only not be listening to R0land's advice about voting, is because you need to look at the fruits of what we've been doing all of these many, many years since we could so-called have the right to vote since the 60s. It's gotten us nowhere. Dr. Claude Anderson, who I've interviewed multiple times, is widely recognized as one of America's most influential intellectuals and authors. I'm going to keep reminding you of who he is. And I'm going to tell you why, because the advice he gives us. Who is he? His experiences span education, business, and all levels of government. R0land doesn't have that experience. Dr. Claude Anderson served as state coordinator of education for Governor Reuben Askew of Florida during the tumultuous years of integration. Did y'all hear what I said? President Jimmy Carter appointed him to the rank of an assistant secretary in the U.S. Department of Commerce, where he chaired a commission that funded and directed economic development activities for governors. He was executive director of 2 economic development organizations for the city of Miami, Florida. As the highest ranking Black on the planning committee for the 1988 Democratic Convention. Did you hear what I said? This is an insider in all levels of government. Highest ranking Black on the planning committee for the 1988 Democratic Convention. He awarded 37% of the contracts to Blacks, a record that has never been broken. He's a United States Marine. He was a safety and survival instructor specialist in the Marine Air. He's a certified pilot and held numerous championships in wrestling, judo, karate, and was a member of the Black Belt Federation during the 1950s and throughout the 60s. He's an entrepreneur, and he designed and constructed radio stations, aquaculture, dealing with water, and other businesses. So Dr. Claude understood the extreme importance of having media power, which that's what we do, fool. And he was appointed by Jimmy Carter, worked at the highest levels of government, state government, local government. Why am I bringing up Dr. Claude? What is Dr. Claude's advice to us now? Dr. Claude said for Black folks not to get involved in politics substantively until we get money. Because he said that politics is about money. He then turns around and tells us about doing group economics so that we can grow in power while we plot to be substantively engaged politically. So somebody that is an insider, that was doing the work and was effective even during integration, that was appointed by Jimmy Carter, that won successful numerous political campaigns, and who fights for our reparations in treaties and courts, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars of his own dollars. He said, as an insider, that we should not be engaging politically like the way R0land is telling us. How many of you all know that somebody with a doctorate, economic degree, and most importantly, experience, and there's for reparations, that spends hundreds of thousands of his dollars to back it in court for Black folk? How many of you all know we should probably take his advice? And Dr. Claude calls out the likes of the R0land Martins and explains to us that the reason why Black folks are not ahead politically is because we don't know how to play the game of politics. I got a couple of other books that I was going to refer to about how we can get things done, but I don't have time. I got to go. I think I've made my point. I could have used this broadcast to humiliate R0land and to really drag him, but I instead wanted to show you how we can engage politically in other ways, and to show you how we have been engaged with our finances, with our dollars, but they just don't agree in the way in which we do it. And most importantly, Dr. Clark, who worked in government and who was for reparations and who spent hundreds of thousands of his dollars and who ran campaigns on all levels, he's rejected by the R0land Martin types. Do you all know that the black political class, they don't go for Dr. Clark because Dr. Clark is for black folks. He's about change, and they are against him because he is for reparations, and he gives us a blueprint for how to make it happen. And this is somebody that knows the inside game. Somebody say, I think we'll listen to him. R0land is a disgusting shield for the Democrat Party, who is a useless, unidentified object that migrated here from another realm. And we're not going to listen to him. Yes, I know they can't keep my name out their mouths. Yes, I know that the powers that be have been plotting on Vicki Dillard. But I was born for this reason. And yes, they can laugh at my style. They can laugh at me bamming the gavel. R0land is so scared, he's telling y'all not to listen to me. He's so scared that he specifically called out recent broadcasts that I've done, specifically attacking the Democrat Party. And we're just getting started. And I will not stop. I don't care if you mock me and laugh at me. You're only doing it because of our effectiveness. And they never expected us to be effective because we're not sitting up on MSNBC. But I believe in the power that's undercover. I thrive in that kind of environment. I love you back, David. Family, some of you all, I was reading through some of the comments, and some of y'all was on there saying, you better keep Vicki Dillard's name out your mouth. Some days back, one of my supporters sent me a cash app, and in the memo, he put, R0land better keep your name out his mouth. And of course, you know, you got your haters on there too. Family, I'm not worried about that. I love you. And power comes in different forms, and it is the biggest scandal of all time for you to believe for 1 second that your power is only in voting. You are out of your mind. That's a trick. It is prophesied by our ancient mystics, our ancient mothers, and some of our ancient fathers, that this current modern mystery Babylon's time is up, and the current world rule will end. And you're up to be the new world leaders. So one of the things that they do to extend their days as world rulers is to convince you to sign in on a system that's dying. So if you keep believing that your vote is the only answer and that your vote is power, and they blasphemously invoke our ancestors' blood and say that they died for the right for us to vote. No, fool. They use it as one tool, and y'all killed them for it. But when they tell you that your ancestors died for the right to vote, do you all know that that's a blasphemous act? They're invoking the ancestors for their diabolical system that's dying. Do you see the trick in that? Their system dies faster when you stop buying into it. So this is another reason why I teach spiritual principles, because I believe in the power of the unseen government and that you can use your black magic to affect what's happening on earth. We talk about group economics and you operating as a nation within a nation because it's another form of power. Sometimes abstention from voting for certain things is doing something. And then when you're voting strategically, locally, that's different when you're voting on a federal level for the president. I've advocated voting locally because you have a more direct effect in that way. Do you understand what I'm talking about? So they don't like me teaching you that you're more powerful than you know. They don't want me to tell you that your word matters and you make matter. They don't want me to tell you that as in everything, the energy that Black folks give to anything will take off. I'm looking for that comment of one of my brothers that just said, join the Vicki Dillard Mystery School. Yes, Rockman, believe it or not, you're one of the ones that inspired that, beloved. Of course, I've been doing spiritual schools for years and years and years, but I'm talking about that specific title because you saw me in the spirit by saying the Vicki Dillard Mystery School. Somebody said that Jason Black said, we'll give you a wellness check for messing with our Queen Vicki. I didn't know he said that, but that's so kind. Thank you. Christine, your hair looks good. Thank you, beloved. I didn't know he said that. So thanks to our brother. If that's true, thank you so much for that. Watch this. So somebody said, we appreciate you. Thank you, precious. Thank you, precious. Somebody said, damn right. Y'all are so sweet. I didn't know he said that, but thank you so much. So I wanted you to know that you're more powerful than you know. Don't mock your small beginnings. Don't mock what you have in your hands. And we're the original people. We don't need to copy or mimic anybody else's nothing. And hell yeah, what we say goes. I remember years and years ago, I was brought on a radio broadcast. And the interviewer said to me, when he was asking me questions, he said, you got this kind of confidence. He said, you just confident, just like you. Hell yeah. I don't deal with just mere mortals I don't do stuff for clout. I paid a price. I'm under supernatural orders. So no, I don't kowtow to mere mortals' instructions. And when they mock me, when they laugh at me, when they call me out my name, when they hate on me, when they take me off of certain platforms, when they steal from me, I still keep doing what I do. By the way, family, my official mastermind school starts in a few weeks. My team is setting everything up soon, but to make sure that you're the first to be involved in that, because I'm not a part of Club Vicki. I'm not a part of all that stuff. I'm going to be talking about the legal stuff as soon as my team finishes up what they're supposed to do. Y'all know I believe in following the rules. I'm not a messy person. I don't believe in doing all this other kind of stuff. So I try to do everything I can as much as possible behind the scenes. But obviously there's some things I'm going to have to address publicly. But my new mastermind school, the Vicki Dillard Mystery School, is going to be released soon. So to be the first to be notified about that, your life will never be the same. Join my email list at VickiPlanet.com. The link is above. Just get on the email list. And when you see the email my team sends out about that Vicki Dillard Mystery School is live to join, do it. It's going to change your life. Mama D said, I'm ready for my classes. Oh, you so precious. Mama D has been a long time supporter. And thank you so much for your precious support, Mama D. Listen, so just get on my email list so that you can get that. Make sure you get your magazine. Y'all know my book, The Dark Goddess Invasion, is coming out after all of these years. So many other yummy things I'm so excited about. You are my bliss. I bow to you. I can say so much more, but I've said enough. I can't wait to see you again. Be sure to share the broadcast. And if you came in late, watch the entire broadcast, okay? I love my moderators and I love you all. I can't wait to see you again.